Welcome, dear Shambra. Welcome to this special recording with Adamus St. Germain. He's calling it Tuesday for Shambra. Get it Tuesday. I'm Jeffrey Hoppe. I'm here with my lovely wife, Linda Benyo Hoppe, at Villa Amio in Kona, Hawaii.
It's a delight to be here and quite a special event.
It is. And Adamus called for this because of the significance of Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. And we're just about to get underway. We'll do some breathing with Linda, but just a reminder also at the last shout, we said, get a selfie of yourself on Tuesday, the 22nd of February, and send it to photos at crimsoncircle.com. We'd love to have pictures of all you, what you're doing, what you look like on that special Tuesday. So with that, I think we're ready for some breathing and on with Adamus.
Okay, so with that, let's really take the good deep breath, that conscious breath, as we open to this very unique event. Take the good deep breath. Let the energies flow. Feel it. Allow it. It's that good deep breath of life. Breathe with feeling and allowing. Take the good deep breath, allowing for the greatest potential for you, for each of us. Be with that good deep breath. Feel it. Be with it. Allow. Adamus is here for us. Breathe it in.
I am that I am. Adamus of Sovereign Domain. And yes, once again, welcome to Tuesday for Shambra. And just as a little coincidence to add with the whole symmetry of this very special date, this is take 2 for Caldra and Linda. They had just started the recording. I had just come in and started talking, and there were some electronic problems. So how appropriate that we would have take 2 on Tuesday for Shambra. Yes, it's an interesting date, February 22nd, 2022. On the calendar, it's a master number, meaning you wouldn't add all the numbers up, all the 2s to come up with numerological number 10. The numbers stay as they are. It's a symmetry that shows up. It's also called a ubiquitous palindrome. Now, that's a mouthful. Ubiquitous palindrome. That's when all the numbers are the same in the different date formats that are used around the world. No matter what, it's still a 22222. And it's the same backwards as it is forwards. And that's why they call it this unusual name of a ubiquitous palindrome. In the Chinese culture, 2 is a lucky number. So perhaps today is going to be your lucky day, perhaps a good day to bet on horses or go to the casino or do something to take advantage of the luck that's inherent on this day. You also find a surge of weddings on this day, weddings taking place all over the world as those in love choosing to get married have decided to do it on this very unique numbering. Who could ever forget their anniversary was the Tuesday. And it is on a Tuesday, not a Wednesday or a Thursday. Our Tuesday is definitely on a Tuesday. And could you imagine for those born on this date and coming up with a name, well, for a girl, for instance, like Tuesday, or for a boy, Tobias, or for a girl, perhaps Tuli. But yes, taking advantage of that unique numbering for this date. Let's take a look at the energetic significance of the number 2 from a numerological standpoint. The number 2 represents a strong feminine force. A strong feminine force. It also represents power. 2, the number 2, is a power number. And of course, it represents duality. Duality. And it also represents intuition. So there's a lot of numerological meaning behind this number 2 and how appropriate that it's all these 2s on this Tuesday. In Tarot, the number 2 is associated with the high priestess. Back there again with this strong feminine force and with the power. With all of these 2s on this particular date, it's also a symmetry. And it causes a lot of attention and focus all over the planet on the unique numbering of this day. It's a symmetry. And normally the dates are, well, all over the place. You have all the different numbers, but here we land on this Tuesday. And the feeling that many people get from this is that out of chaos, there is some order. Chaos, the random numbering all the time, and then suddenly all of these 2s coming together. And the timing of this date of February 22nd, 2022 comes at a most appropriate and interesting time on the planet. It's a convergence right now of so many things that are coming together. We've talked about convergences in the past, and it's that symmetry. It's the coming together of different elements. And the reason why I called for this gathering on this Tuesday for Shambhala was because, well, before we get into that, just feel into the number 2. Feel into it. Duality, power, intuition, and sensitivity. The feminine, and as I said in Tarot, the high priestess. All these 2s represented here. And what we have now is this convergence coming together. I talked about it recently at our Kasama reunion right here at Villa Amio. Talked with this wonderful group of 27 about the things that are happening on the planet, the global events that are taking place on the planet right now. We spent 2 solid days just talking about global events. And Linda, as you know, it wasn't a particularly pleasant discussion.
No, it was an interesting energy for sure.
It was different than what we normally do in the gatherings, and I'm sure many of the attendees would rather have not taken a look at the global situation because it's difficult. It's challenging right now. But we did talk about that, and in that I said, right now, there is a power vortex, kind of like a power cyclone over Eastern Europe. There's the conflict that's going on between Ukraine and Russia and drawing in the rest of the world, but there's much more to it than that. Right now, what you have on the planet is this power cyclone, this power vortex. And what it's doing right now is pulling in all of the power issues of the planet. It's a very, very seductive vortex. And yes, in the headlines, it's about Russia and the Ukraine, but ultimately what it's really about is much more than that. This power vortex that's operating right now in Eastern Europe is literally pulling up old power issues on the planet. Issues that have been buried in the ground for a long, long time. Issues that are in the history books, but never truly resolved. It's like an incredible cyclone, like a hurricane, like a tornado that's drawing more and more and more strength. It's pulling in all those who have power issues, and you're seeing it played out on a world stage. The cyclone is drawing in everybody's attention. It's drawing in those ego and power issues from world leaders. And so many of these world leaders, they've come back in this incarnation. They've come back with power and control and dominance issues that were started in other lifetimes. They've come back now to reassemble their groups, their organizations, the others who were involved in their past life power circles. And now on the planet, there's a lot of saber rattling, a lot of power noise going on, and particularly at this point, the potential for war on the planet, a war that hasn't been seen in quite a while, a war that draws the world's attention, just like this ubiquitous palindrome of the 22222 is drawing in everybody's attention. But what's really happening on the planet right now, aside from the symmetry of these numbers, is this power vortex that's growing. There are those who get drawn into it. Those who may never be involved in any sort of armed conflict, but it brings up the power issue. And this is a very, very strong vortex, the likes of that we haven't seen in a long, long time. And the reason why I wanted to call for this gathering on this Tuesday for Shambhala is it's the ideal time for benching, for not getting drawn into the power, not taking sides, not doing any of your own cause work, change work, or saber rattling, not to get involved in this vortex that's sucking up power all over the world. And that's exactly what I wanted to do here today with this session, with Shambhala. Now, benching, as you know, is about simply radiating your light to the planet without agenda. We're not trying to change the outcome of the situation in Eastern Europe right now. We're not trying to sprinkle fairy dust on it. We're not trying to take sides, one or the other, because both sides feel justified, but neither side recognizes what's really going on. It is a drawing together of old and outdated power issues. You could say that the planet is at the verge of making choices that could go either way, but making a choice is to continue on with the power games or to be done with them. And if it's to be done with them, of course, they don't go away right away, but pretty soon people turn their back on power. They recognize it for what it is. They recognize the game of power. It's very similar in a way to the sexual energy virus. You can't blame it on anyone. It's simply an imbalance that is on the planet. So let's now gather together on this Tuesday for Shambhala and do the benching together without agenda, without trying to change any outcome, but simply shining a light so that the planet, the peoples on the planet, the leaders of the planet, the religions of the planet can all see that there is a different way rather than power if they choose. So put on some music now and let's take a deep breath together in this global Shambhala gathering on this Tuesday for Shambhala, as this power vortex gathers more and more and more steam over Eastern Europe, but is truly pulling up power issues from every place on the planet. You'll see it, you'll feel it, you'll hear about it in the news. Power trying to hold on to its power, but will it be able to? Let's take a deep breath together now and begin our benching on this Tuesday for Shambhala. Benching is simply about radiating your light and not getting caught into the duality, not determining an outcome, not taking sides. And this power vortex right now is very, very strong. It would tend to pull people into it. It would tend to even pull well-meaning Shambhala who are benching into it. It is that strong. It is definitely pulling in leaders from all around the world who have their own power issues. It's definitely drawing in people who are dealing with their individual power issues. And it's all happening on this interesting convergence of 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Let's take a deep breath and now simply shine your light. Let it radiate out to the world without agenda. And as you shine that light, it illuminates potentials. Potentials to go beyond power on this planet. And the planet has operated for a long, long, long time with power issues. And as you know from our discussions, power is an illusion. But when you buy into it, it's very seductive. It comes up at this time because the consciousness on the planet is changing right now. And there are those who are coming to realize that power truly is an illusion. But when one has power, they're inclined to try to get more power. When one doesn't have power, certainly they're afraid of it and they try to get power. And ultimately, it will bring attention to the fact that there's plenty of energy on the planet. Ultimately, will even help to transform how the planet finds and discovers and mines and processes their raw energy for things like home heating and automobiles. Ultimately, this vortex of power has the potential to transform things on the planet where people realize that they have all the energy, their personal energy they need, and for Shambhala, recognizing that the energy is all yours. The pursuit of power comes when one believes that things like energy are outside of themselves. And whether it's things like general energy or money or simply dominance over others, when one believes it's outside of themselves, then they get caught up in power. They try to get more and more power, and therefore they think energy. But perhaps this is the time right now in this convergence for the planet to start realizing that power is an illusion, that there's plenty of energy for everyone. Perhaps with this power vortex going on and your light shining upon the planet, perhaps it'll lead to new discoveries about energy itself. How the fossil fuel energy is as outdated as power itself. And now comes the time for the discovery of clean energy, free energy, efficient energy on the planet. So you see, it's so much more than just about February 22nd, 2022. It's tied in with this whole power vortex. It's tied in with a change that's long overdue on the planet. But understanding it's up to humanity if they want to choose it or not. You're simply shining a light for others to behold. Take a moment here to feel into this power vortex that's centered over Eastern Europe right now, over this area of Ukraine and Russia, but not getting caught in it. It's very, very powerful or seductive. It would pull one deep within it. Take a moment to feel into this. At the core of this power vortex, at the center of it is fear. At the core of all power is fear. Fear of losing that power. Fear of having others have power over you. So at the core of any power issue, and particularly this power vortex, is a tremendous amount of fear. This vortex is swirling, It's gaining steam, it's gaining strength. It's drawing in those who you might not even think could get drawn in. We're here simply to shine the light. The very reason for you being here on the planet at this time. The very reason for not having your enlightenment earlier, but to stay here as a master on the planet Earth. To shine your light at times like this in particular. Or to shine it every day, but to shine right now on this Tuesday for Shambhala. And again, not trying to take sides, not having any agenda, simply to shine the light. Take a good deep breath and let your light shine out to the world. A light that will illuminate potentials for humanity, and then it's up to them, whether they choose them or not, it's up to them. But what you're doing is shining that light that shows them what they might not have previously seen. And that's what benching is all about. Take a deep breath, and it's fine to feel what this power is like, but then to know that this vortex isn't yours. To feel it, to be aware of it and sensitive, but not to take it on as your own. It's good to feel this core of fear in the center of any power, but particularly this vortex that's operating right now, and to realize that it's not yours. Many of you have been feeling anxious over the past few days or even weeks, an anxiety, what I call a phantom anxiety, not really knowing what it is, but thinking that it's something you're doing. No, you're simply feeling that power vortex building. And that creates anxiety, particularly when you don't know what it is. You're feeling the fear that's at the core of this vortex. But it's not yours. Yes, you feel it because you're sensitive. You're becoming very tuned into energies. And energies which, of course, are just communications. You're feeling all this, but remembering that it's not yours. You've stayed on the planet right now simply to shine your light. So let's do that right now. Let's just let that light shine. You don't have to force it. You don't have to push it. It's just opening and allowing. Now, when something like this power vortex feels that light, it roars even more, it spins even faster, it will literally try to draw you into it. It doesn't like that light shining because this power realizes that it is being exposed. It is being put into the light. It doesn't like that one bit. But you hold steady. You stay balanced. You take a deep breath and feel into why you're here in the first place, and simply shine your light, not trying to annihilate this energy vortex, this power vortex, and not trying to overcome it, because then you're just in the game of duality. And the number two, it can really represent duality and power as you're seeing right now. You're here simply shining the light. As much as that light agitates the power, as much as that light annoys this power vortex, you stay steady, just shining the light, no agenda. Not trying to change anything, not trying to force anything, and certainly not taking sides, but just shining the light. And pretty soon you realize now that power vortex is just trying to ignore the light, just trying to ignore you, going about its work of spinning angrily, ferociously, sucking in all those who work with power, have power imbalances and issues. It intensifies as it draws in more and more of that. And you're seeing it played out on a world stage right now. What will come in these next days and the next few weeks, it doesn't really matter. But do observe, do be aware of what shifts and changes take place. Again, not trying to make anything happen, simply shining the light, but observe what happens when the light of thousands of Shambhala comes upon the earth, comes upon the world, and not necessarily directly related to what's happening in Eastern Europe right now, although it could definitely have an effect. But what happens when the light shines out? At this time of convergence, during the roar of power itself, the roar that is not just about this moment, but is literally bringing up power issues from the past, sucking them into the vortex. Observe what happens as a small group of humans around the planet simply shine their light. Let's take a deep breath and keep shining, keep radiating. Take a good deep breath. Let your light flow gracefully from within you. Let your light flow with ease and grace from you onto the planet. Not getting caught in the issues, not getting caught in the power vortex, but simply shining your light. As I said to our group at the Kasama reunion, when you're benching like this, shining your light without agenda onto the world, to me, this is the pure prayer, the true prayer. Not praying for a particular outcome, because then you're simply in the duality. Not praying for outside intervention, because it all comes from the inside. This shining of your light is the pure prayer. The thing that has the most potential to change things if humanity is ready. And that's what we're doing here today, on this Tuesday for Shambhala. We'll let the music continue to play out for a little bit as you continue to shine your light on the planet. Come back later and observe what's happening. As the observer, behind the short wall, as Tobias would say. Behind the short wall, not getting sucked into the power vortex, and you might really feel its seduction, not getting sucked into it, but standing behind the short wall and observing what happens now in the coming days and weeks. So I'll bid you farewell here now, at least for the time being, until our next gathering. You're welcome to continue shining your light on this Tuesday for Shambhala, February 22nd, 2022. With that, I am Adamus of Sovereign Domain.